Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well and I hope that you have a magnificent day. I'm here to do an intuitive card reading to see what insights, messages, and guidance the universe has to share with us at this time, especially in regards to truth coming to light and how the truth can withstand it all. It will not crumble, it will not falter. The truth is truth. You can stand firm in the truth. It is a strong, solid foundation. Whereas fear, false evidence appearing real, lies, deception, manipulation, all that is built on very shaky foundation. And once you start questioning it, it all crumbles. And lots of things are coming to light now. But let's take a look at the cards and see what other insights and messages the universe wants to share with us at this time. Oops. Okay, so the first card that comes out is last quarter moon in Virgo, attend to the details. And the details can really, really matter because those who are, trying to pull the wool over your eyes, those who are, trying to manipulate you and deceive you and lie to you, a lot of the times they will use a grain or a kernel of truth to give themselves credibility. They'll be like, they'll tell half-truths and, walk around the truth and, say one thing that's true and then attach another statement to it that you would think it would be true also, but may have nothing to do with each other. They could be technically two true statements, but they're unrelated. Sort of like, oh, I have a work call to go to, so I'm gonna leave. It's just like, you think, oh, you have to leave because of the work call, and it's like, no, they just didn't want to be there anymore. And so that kind of stuff. So attend to the details. And I was talking with some of my online friends and about how truth is truth and that it can withstand it all. Even the easy questions, even yes, no questions, it can handle questioning. It doesn't change. But there have been a number of people that we've encountered and just with these easy questions, and yes, no answers, they will start switching up their stories and they'll like their whole little story and their narrative starts crumbling apart and they start freaking out and lashing out and trying to cover it up. And it's just like, truth is truth. And this is where, the details come out, because a lot of times these people don't remember all the lies they told. Because I remember this one person, I would ask them questions because I remember things that people tell me, not necessarily 100% because I'm human, but if someone's important to me, I tend to remember more about what they told me than what I've done in a day, which it's a whole thing. There are times where I don't even remember what clothes I'm wearing. I know I'm wearing clothes, but they'll look at me like, oh yeah, I put that on today. But I would ask them, be like, oh, but you said this before, and they'd change up their story and be like, oh, I don't know what I was thinking, I always mean this, and it was constantly changing. And so pay attention to these details, pay attention to the stories people are telling you, because if you start questioning it, it starts falling apart, and then these people usually start lashing out at you. Also, it can be our own minds that do it, because the truth is truth, fact is fact, energy doesn't lie, so the truth is unwavering. For instance, recently we had tax-free weekend where I live, where you get, don't have to pay tax on going back to school supplies because so many people are going back to schools. And so I have, my laptop is decent, it still works, but it's kind of, I got it in 2018, okay? So it's hanging on there, it's still doing decent, but I just feel like it's time to get an upgrade. And since I got some extra money from pet sitting for my aunt recently, I was like, you know what, why don't I invest in myself and get myself a new laptop? Because most people, they get upgrades and all that so much more frequently than me, but I am well, I'm resourceful. If I don't need something, I'm not gonna go get it. But I'm starting to have issues with my charger for my laptop and all that, so I'm like, you know what, get a new laptop. And so I was looking at all the different places and different options, and that was getting frustrating because it felt like I was going around in circles, and like there's all these different things and like what truly matters, what doesn't. But so I found a laptop that I thought I wanted at two different places, and one place it was like $60 to $70 more than the other, and I was like, well, I'll put them both in my cart. The one place, it didn't have the tax on it. The place that was cheaper, it had the tax on it, and I was like, why is there the tax here? It's still, tax-free weekend. It, like, I was like double checking. It's like, no, like it runs through 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. It's I think it was like 7 o'clock or something like that, and I'm like, I still have time. And like it's like it was on like personal computers up to $1,500. I'm like, no, it qualifies, it's way under that. And so I was like, this is really weird. And so I ended up buying the computer and reaching out to customer service, and like part of the fear started coming in. It's like, oh, it's not gonna work because like if it was, you were meant to not have tax on it, then it would have just come off on the site and all that. And I'm like, okay, but they should honor it because it goes through the end of the weekend. So like, no fear, false evidence appearing real, no doubt, no insecurity, I'm not gonna believe in that. And then because fear is not the truth, it started changing up its story, its angle, and it's saying, hey, why are you causing all this more hassle for people? Like, you should just be happy that you got a decent discount, this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, but that just seems more like programming from my childhood about how my family's always going on about how I'm too much, just for pointing out facts, just for like having natural human needs, just for wanting to be treated with decency, just for living in truth. And so I'm just like, you know what, no, I'm gonna reach out. And so like it was a whole experience because of course first it was a chat bot who had no idea what I was talking about. It's like, this isn't in my systems, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, it's tax-free weekend, okay? Like I want to get refunded on this. I should be allowed to. And like I even confirmed with ChatGPT, don't always use it, but I was like, you know what? Like, let me make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Everybody's using AI. Like, let me just confirm, get my facts straight. And it's like, okay, no. And like it even like guided me to the website. It's like, no. Like it's part of the whole like legally they have to do it. I'm like, okay. And so finally, after like 10-15 minutes, I got a hold of a customer representative, and like there's like, okay, let me see what I can do on my end because you're right, like that shouldn't have happened, I'm so sorry. Took like 20 minutes with them, and they're like, okay, I think I took care of it on my end, but I'm gonna send you this email. I want you to email them, explain the situation, include your account order number, and like you should be refunded. And I was like, okay. So we'll see how that comes. I haven't received it yet, but fear, the not truth, the false evidence appearing real, was trying to convince me not to listen to the truth. But it's like, the truth is the truth. Like, it's tax-free weekend. Like, at the time when I ordered it, I shouldn't have to pay tax on that. It's a qualifying item. The time hadn't run out. It was a participating store. Like, all these things. So it's like, attend to the details because truth stands up. Like the fear, like when you start pointing things out, it starts trying to change its tactics. So it's like, yeah, question the fear, question these stories people are telling you, because if it's the truth, then there's nothing to worry about. Truth is truth. But these people, you start questioning their stories, and not even in a mean way. Like, you could just be very gentle, kind, loving, peaceful, and respectful. Just be like, hey, like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you said this is true. Like, what are you going on about? Like, I don't understand. And like, people can start blowing up on you. Happened all the time with my narcissistic ex, happened a lot with that toxic group, happened with my family, happened with my former friend. And like, I remember my best friend had brought up, because this former friend was like showing her all the messages, except that former friend had been editing and deleting messages. So it's like the whole story wasn't even there. But even what was left is like, my friend's like, holy cow, like that was so nasty and aggressive and disrespectful and mean. Like, wow, that was hurtful. And not just what was said to me, and like the tone that the former friend had been using, but all the stuff that they said about my best friend, because they were dragging her through the mud. And I'm like, that's part of the reason why I stepped away, because I'm like, you are just like, what? And my best friend even was bringing it up. It's like, hey, I didn't like what you had to say about me. That was very, very hurtful. And my best friend told me, like, yeah, they just brushed that off and had nothing to say about it. But they kept saying what they had been telling to me was the truth. It was factual. I was just being factual. It was the truth. It was the truth. And it reminds me about one of my exes. This one was not officially diagnosed, but very well could be. But they, like, we were having a conversation about something, and they kept like clinging on to this one fraction of the truth, one element, like not the whole story, just this little tiny little snippet, and be like, this is the whole truth. And like we'd be like, well, what about this? And it's like, no, it's the truth, it's the truth. And it's like using it as a shield. And it's like, you're screaming and yelling that it's the truth, but you won't even listen. Like, yeah, if the truth doesn't need to do that, the truth just is like, it's solid, it's stable, it's secure, like you can't shake it. Truth is truth. So attend to the details and stories will fall apart, and you'll be able to see clearly what's truth and what's not. You know, like whether it be with your mind and fear or other people, truth is truth. Okay, we have New Moon in Sagittarius. Focus on the positive, and this can also, involve when people lie to you, when they deceive you, when they try to manipulate you, when their lives are falling apart and they're lashing out easily. It can be very frustrating and irritating and upsetting, and you're just like, what the heck? That's so disrespectful and rude. Will you stop? Like, that's not okay. Focus on the positive, that you're able to see it clearly. Because once upon a time, we didn't see it clearly. We didn't see the truth for what it really was. Even with our own minds, like we could have bought into the fear, the false evidence appearing real. We could have bought into the doubt and insecurity and, played it small, dimmed our light, settled for less, sold ourselves out. And so it's just like, yes, it can be very, very messy and hurtful, and like all these things can be coming to the surface, and people can be lashing out and upset because their lies, their deception, their manipulation is being called out and seen for what it is. But focus also on the positive, that you're no longer ensnared in it. You're no longer having the wool pulled over your eyes. Yes, it can suck. Yes, it can be painful. Yes, like it's not acceptable to be treated that way, but also acknowledge the silver linings. Like, okay, I'm seeing it for what it is, because for me, like what happened with that toxic group and the narcissist is like, I was in the thick of it and I couldn't see the truth for quite some time. It was like almost a year I was with that group. It was darn near like very much approaching a year, and I thought we were all like tight and we all had each other's back and we were a big happy friend group. They all turned on me because I was questioning things and gently, lovingly, kindly, respectfully, peacefully pointing things out so we can resolve issues, because it was very much there. And then they just decided, no, I'm the problem. I'm crazy. I'm just, letting all this negativity fester and all these things. I'm like, what? What? And it's like other people, like a couple other people who got kicked out of that group also could see it and were also, questioning and calling things out. And that's why they got kicked out, because that group could not handle it. They could not handle the truth. They were very much living lies. They were in denial. They were deceiving themselves and wanting to, deceive and manipulate all of the other people too. They wanted everyone to be living the same delusion. And it's like, truth is truth. Like, there's going to be like a rough awakening when the truth comes crashing in, because that little denial, delusional bubble's going to pop. And that's one thing that I'm grateful for, like focusing on the positive and silver lining of like myself waking up. Is like, I'm not believing all the lies of my family anymore, about being a burden, being a problem that ruins everything, like being out of line, being too emotional, being too needy, this, that, and the other. Is like, no, I'm actually very much with it. Like, I'm actually pretty stable and flexible and level-headed, and like I go through a lot, but they just don't like being called out and having the truth pointed out to them, because that little castle of lies that they built is on very shaky foundation. When you start pointing out the truth, it starts crumbling, and they don't like that. But it's like also with my mind, like I was also able to work through that whole fear thing and all of its lies. Like, no, truth is truth. I shouldn't have to pay tax and tax-free weekend. Like, sure, I could, but like legally that's a thing, and like it's not run out. It's a qualifying item. Like, okay, yes, it may require some extra work, but it's like, no, like that's not the truth. Like, the truth is, it's tax-free weekend. Like, I am, like, I deserve it. Like, it deserves to be followed through. And so often, like, with jobs, relationships, like, situations, like, I would just be like, well, because my family doesn't want me to rock the boat, so it got conditioned into me. It's like, I'll just not say anything. I won't speak the truth. I won't call them out. Like, that happened with jobs. Like, they wouldn't pay me what I was deserved, what I earned. And like I remember with my last full-time job at a school system, like I was supposed to be given a stipend, and they just tore me down and said I didn't even deserve the money I was making. No, they weren't going to give me a stipend, this, that, and the other. I'm like, and the fact that I didn't have it in writing, I was like, I feel like I don't have much leg to stand on. And so it was a whole thing, but I am very much stepping more in my power and just like, no, I'm going to speak the truth. Even if other people don't want to hear it. I know I'm not going to be nasty about it. No, I'm not going to be like, well, actually, this is really like, no, like, truth is truth. You don't have to scream it to have your voice heard. It can stand on its own as the truth. It has presence as the truth. Like, with my family, they feel they have to scream, and whoever's loudest is the most right. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. Just because you're screaming doesn't make what you have to say true. And if you really were speaking the truth, you wouldn't feel the need to scream it, because the truth can stand on its own, and it will withstand it all. We are in some very interesting times, though. Very interesting times. Yeah, last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. It's time to lighten up from all the lies, all the deception, all the manipulation, all of the emotional baggage, and, past traumas and wounds, like all of this weight, and just like lighten up and just stand in the truth, and like it'll set us free. The whole expression, the truth will set you free. Like, truth is truth. And, some people may fall by the wayside because they can't handle the truth, but that doesn't mean that you're the problem. They're the one who's beefing with the truth, okay? Like, my online friend was talking about how with the narcissist, she had been asking him very easy questions, and she's like, yeah, all these alarm bells were ringing because he kept changing his story and he couldn't answer the easy questions, and it was just all falling apart. And it's just like, yeah, and he was the one trying to get her to play messenger to get me to talk to him again, to like patch things up and all that. And it's just like, what? And he's telling her, oh yeah, she's writing all these horrible things about me on her website, and it's really, really hurtful, and I know that it hurts her too. And I'm just like over here like, if it hurts you so much, why are you reading it? Like, it is on a personal website. You have to go out of your way to go to it. And mind you, I wasn't writing anything nasty about him specifically. I was just doing like PSAs about narcissism because I did, my research, and I was like, oh my goodness, if I had known this, I could have saved myself so much heartache and suffering and grief and headaches, because, yeah, I would have noticed the signs early before it got to the point it did. But it's like, you can't do anything to change the past. So I'm just like over here like, if I wanted to talk to him, I wouldn't have him blocked. He's going around my block to other social media platforms trying to harass me. And so it's like, I don't know all his handles. So it's like, yeah, I can't really block him preemptively if I don't know it. So he's like going around to harass me, be like, I'm sorry, come talk to me, I have unresolved feelings. I'm like, look, I don't want you to suffer, but it's like, no, I value myself too much. I'm not going through that again. I'm not letting you hoover me back in, because that is one of the narcissistic tactics. They try to hoover you back in, suck you back in, and be like, no, come back. And he literally thought I was gonna go crying and begging and crawling to him and be like, come back. And I was like, no, like, listen, guys, don't do that to yourselves. You deserve better, because if someone can't even have an open, honest, vulnerable, real, honest conversation with you, they can't speak the truth, and they just decide to break up with you and like can't even give you a reason why and won't share anything, and then they start blowing up because you were like, hey, listen, because this was after several days, like I think it was like 4 or 5. I was like, okay, here's where I'm at. I'm not ready to speak to you, but I didn't want to leave you in the dark. And it's like, what you did was not okay. It was disrespectful. It was, unacceptable treatment. And, you keep saying you're going to give me all the time and space that I need, but you keep bombarding me with messages. If you cannot honor what I need by giving me the time and space that I need, this is not an invitation to start talking to me. If you can't do that, I'm going to have to block you. And it's just like, and if I block you, I might not ever unblock you. Like, I will just be at that point, because like constant boundaries being crossed, constant disregard, constant disrespect. And I'm just like, listen, I'll be honest with you. Truth is the truth. This is where I'm at. You need to give me time and space. And then maybe I'll be able to come back and we can try to patch things up. But no, he didn't. And so then I blocked him. And then he goes on a public server of friends and it starts doing all this smear campaigns and hate and nastiness and disrespect and just throwing all this mud. And somehow I'm the bad guy and I'm the one who's causing all the negativity and drama. It's like, I hadn't been anywhere public. I knew he was going to do something like that. I could feel it in my bones. The energy doesn't lie, guys. And so, yeah, like, don't go back to that. If you walked away from something, if the universe pruned something for you, do not go back. Their true colors have been revealed. Lighten up. Don't weigh yourself down like that, because I realized how much, because that whole toxic group was like that. Like, literally. And it's just like, I realized how heavy and drained I was from being around them for almost a year. And it's like, yeah, we need to lighten up. We need to stand to the truth. The truth will come to light and it will set us free, guys. Like, we need to lighten up. We don't need to be weighed down by all those burdens of lies and deception and delusion and denial. Like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Right? The scorpion power. The truth, it is powerful. Like, you can't beat the truth. Like, these people who are, trying to deceive and, live in delusion and manipulate and all that, they can hide the truth for a while, but it's like a cork you're trying to hold onto the surface of water. It's going to bob back up to the surface. Or, you can throw a blanket over a light, but the light's going to come out again. Like, darkness leaves way to daybreak. Like, the truth will shine again. You can't actually, hide it. It may work for a little while. You may be able to pull wool over people's eyes for a bit, but it's like, no, truth is what's strong. It can withstand it all. It will stand the test of time. Truth is truth. Knowledge is power. And it's like, you're building a house of cards on, like this foundation of sand, thinking like, yes, this is secure. It's like, no, that can topple over so easily. Like, just a little bit of probing, just a little bit of questions, just a, gust of breeze, it's gonna come crashing down. The lies, the deception, the manipulation, like, it does not have the power. Society was built like that way, but the old ways are crumbling. And people are losing their minds because these old ways that used to work, that used to give them power through the deception, through the lies, through the manipulation, through the coercion, all that, it's not working anymore. And they are losing their minds. And people are like, no, let me question this. And then they try to, gaslight you and belittle you and invalidate you. And it's like, no, I have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. The truth is truth. What you're saying is a bunch of baloney. I'm not going to accept that. Like, no, that's an intolerable answer. And so we're just getting our power back by standing in the truth. Yeah, the owl wisdom. Like, the truth brings wisdom. There's no true wisdom in lies, deception, manipulation, all of that. Like, they're tricking you through fear, false evidence appearing real, insecurity, doubt. Like, it just reveals so much about them. Like, that whole group, they are very insecure. And that's why they can't handle questions. That's why, like, even if you're being the most gentle and kind and loving and respectful and peaceful, they can't handle it. Because I feel like deep down they know that their life is built on lies, and they don't want it to come crumbling down. They don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to deal with their emotions and all that. They just rather run away. But, it's all going to come to light, because if you look at this, this is like the dark of night, but there's the candlelight, and there's the moon, like, and all these stars. Like, it's the light, and the truth will come back. It'll come to light. It can't stay hidden. It will give us the wisdom and the power and the strength and all of that. Truth has the real power. Yeah, the elk strength. Like, this is very much more like you may feel like you are lost in the woods. There's like this fog and it's dark on this card. But the truth brings you strength. It will illuminate the way forward. Look at this elk. Like, it is just embodying light. And there's all these little, like, it sort of feels like spirit guide energy or fairies. Like, it'll light the way. Like, it's the truth coming in to show you your way through the fog of deception, with wool being pulled over your eyes, the manipulation, all of that. Like, you're gonna be led through it all with the truth. The lies won't lead you to where you want to go. It'll just get you even more lost and confused. That's why we need to stand in truth. We need to stand in truth, because it's gonna get us out. Yeah, the truth, the sea lion, balance, it's gonna get us back into balance. That's why so many people who are engaging in manipulation and deception and lies and delusion and denial, all of that, they're still out of balance because they're not acknowledging the truth. That's why they lash out and have these crazy emotionally volatile explosions, and you start questioning them, and it's like they don't even have a calm, reasonable, rational response to it. They usually go with the personal attacks. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just stupid, blah, 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 blah. And they start like attacking your character and all that. And it's like, okay, but we are talking about this. Like, why do you feel so threatened and attacked just by me asking a question and trying to get to the truth of the matter? Like, yeah, your life is out of balance, but the truth brings balance, even if we don't like the truth. Even if it's uncomfortable, because sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to look at the truth of the matter. It's like, okay, we were in the wrong. We were mistaken about what we believed, this, that, and the other. It's like, but by accepting that, by being willing to face it, by integrating it, by making space for it, it brings us back to balance. It makes us whole. It makes us stable and level-headed and grounded. The truth is what we need. But so many people are running away from the truth, So we have compassion, and that very much feels like having compassion with yourself for, when we're facing those uncomfortable truths about how we may have been, mistaken or wrong. The ego does not like that, which is part of the reason why some of these people are having these crazy, intense, emotional explosions about being confronted with the truth. Being called out and trying to be held accountable, and trying to have them stay in integrity and have a strength of character. But have compassion with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and also have compassion with other people, because sometimes, not necessarily all the time, but sometimes they don't know better. They haven't been shown another way. We're programmed and all that. That doesn't excuse their behavior. That doesn't give them a free pass. That doesn't be like, you know what, you didn't know, so you can keep on doing that. You don't have to be held accountable for what you did. But have a place of compassion and gentleness. That's why I try not to, lash out at other people and like be harsh with the truth. But it's just like, you need to have real conversations, especially with that former friend who wanted me to be an accountability partner. It's just like, an accountability partner wouldn't tell you what you want to hear. They would be real with you. They would be honest and truthful with you, so you can have the growth that you need and want, so you can be held accountable. But Compassion is the warmth of the soul. Give it to others and yourself, yeah. Because with some people, they get like this, maybe it's sort of like a vindictiveness, like they become a truth crusader, and they come in with like this brutal, harsh truth, and it's like, I'm gonna correct everyone and I'm gonna prove you wrong. And it's like, you don't have to come in with that intense energy. Yes, people need to be held accountable. Yes, we need to be living in truth, and people can't get away with, being manipulative and deceptive and trying to coerce things and all that. But there also needs to be compassion, because sometimes people don't know better, and sometimes people are just very lost and they're hurt. Doesn't give them a free pass to do whatever they want and hurt other people, but truth can bring compassion too. It can bring warmth. It doesn't have to be cold and brutal and like, I'm going to destroy you, or I'm going to come down and wreck your house of cards. It's like, doesn't have to be the energy. It may still come crumbling down, because the truth is the truth. The lies don't have solid foundation to stand on, but we can bring more compassion. We don't have to be, come and cutthroat and all that. Yeah. Truth allows for more harmony. Harmony is the beautiful melody in relationships. And if you look at so many relationships, because there's not truth, because they're not built upon truth, there isn't actual harmony. Like, that happened with me and the narcissist. He was going around with his lies, his deception, his manipulation, and so the disharmony came out because he couldn't handle the truth, because he was avoiding and running away from the truth. And like, I was literally telling other people, it's like, hey, before I like put together he was a narcissist and all the peace and all that, but I was like, listen, I can accept that things don't work out the way we want them to. I may not enjoy it, it may not be my preference, but I can come to terms with that. And I would have been able to walk away on good terms with him if we had just had an open, honest, respectful conversation. Be like, hey, what is it that you want? What is it that I want? What are the issues that we're having right now? Do you think we can come up with a solution? Do you think we can patch this up and fix it? Do you think we can work and learn and grow together? Do you think it's best to, part ways? And even if we were on two different pages and he thought one way and I thought the other, at least we would have had that conversation and I could respect it. I may not enjoy how things turn out, but it's like, I would be able to respect it. But it's like, that didn't happen. But that's also because he wasn't living in truth. So of course the disharmony came out, But when you have those relationships built upon and grounded in truth, that's where the true harmony comes out. That's why there's so much dysfunction in this world, is because people are running away from the truth and they can't handle the truth. They're all in this delusion and denial, like my family. Like how they treat Suki, our cat. They will force their quote-unquote love. It's not love. It's like obsession, weird fixation stuff. Like, it is not love at all. If anything, close to love, it'd be conditional love, but like literally they'll pick her up and force their quote-unquote love on her. She'll be hissing and growling and screaming and trying to claw and chew her way to freedom. They'll be covered with, all these bloody gashes, and they'll just laugh and be like, haha, you don't mean that. You, oh hush, you love this, you need this, you want this, you need my love. And it's just like, that is not how someone that needs love would act. Like, if that's truly love. And it's like, you're in denial, delusion, like, that's not the truth. And you try to point it out, and there's like, no, and they just like double and triple and quadruple down. And so it's like, you can see the disharmony in all these relationships because people aren't living in truth. They're not. And it's just really, really sad. And yeah, truth also brings understanding. Understanding is the key to deep connections. That's why so many relationships and connections are superficial and surface level at best. They're not the deep, meaningful, genuine connections that I am looking for. And it's like, no matter how hard I try, and like I try to invest in these relationships and to have those to, be truthful and be open and honest and real and just like have authenticity in it, it's like, Well, yeah, if they're not living in truth, like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have the deep, meaningful connections. You know, you're not going to have that understanding because they don't even understand themselves. They're not living in truth. They're not being honest with themselves. So how are they going to be able to be honest with anybody else? They're too busy running away from who they are. They're too busy running away from their flaws, from their emotions, from their past. They can't sit and make space for who they are and their emotions and what's coming up. So they have to run away, bury it, and cope and numb out and like live in a lie. So it's like, yeah, that would do it, you know? People aren't living in truth, so that makes it really, really hard. But the truth brings safety because the truth is grounded, the truth is powerful, the truth has strength and wisdom, and it's just very stable and secure. Safety is the foundation of life. Cherish the calm moments. Like, yes, it can hurt when, you know, the truth comes out. Sometimes the truth is a bitter pill to swallow, but like, if I think about that group, the toxic group and the narcissist, if I had stayed there, I wouldn't have been safe because they were secretly using things. Like, the truth came out, they created this whole secret group just to slander me, just to talk, you know, smack and throw mud and have smear campaigns and go on about how psycho I was and I was being so crazy and irrational and what was I even talking about? I was delusional. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't have been safe with that group. And it's just like, yeah, the truth can be painful when it comes to light, but it does provide safety because think about it, if people are just living in lies and delusion and denial and deception and manipulation and all that, if they're living from a place of fear and insecurity, doubt and all that, like, there's no safety there. There's not. The truth will set you free. That's why the universe wants you to be open and real and honest with yourself, to be who you truly are. Just stand in that truth because it will bring you safety. Everything that's not meant for you will fall away. And yeah, the truth will allow you to trust more too. You can trust the universe. You can trust that it has your back, that everything is unfolding beautifully. And even when sometimes when truth comes to light, there can be these super messy, painful moments and chaos, like, it will work out for your benefit. Trust your intuition. The universe guides you. That's the thing I was talking with my online friends. Energy doesn't lie. The truth is the truth, and it will not crumble. It will withstand it all. So you can trust the truth will never let you down. It may not be what you want to hear, but it won't let you down. You can stand firm in the truth. We have refocus, and this feels like refocusing on how even if the truth can be painful and a bitter pill to swallow at times, to look for silver linings, to, you know, focus on the positive, to see the bright side of things. You know, yes, they could bring all this storm and turbulence and chaos, and you could be like, well, why didn't the truth come out sooner? But it's like, it's time to refocus because a life built on lies is not going to withstand the test of time. A life built on truth will, though. That's why the universe wants us to refocus. Refocus to find balance between your material and spiritual aspects of life. Stop putting too much emphasis on material things. And yeah, sometimes the material work can be a lie too. Because, you know, we put so much emphasis on it, but it's just like, we are spiritual beings, the divine incarnate having a human experience. We're not going to be here in the material, the physical, that long. Like, in the grand scheme of times, it's like you blink and then a human life is over. So it's time to shift our focus and to refocus on truth, on what really matters, and not, you know, all the manipulation, lies, and deception. Because there's a lot of it right now in human society. But we're in the midst of transformation. Release old habits, embrace new opportunities for growth, and trust in the universe plan for you. Trust in the truth. The truth will set you free. It will set you free. You can build your life upon the truth. Even if the truth can be painful, even if it's not everyone's cup of tea, you're going to go much farther with the truth than with lies, deception, manipulation, fear, doubt, insecurity, all of that. Trust in the truth. It's going to set you free. Yeah, we're in the midst of evolution. You are evolving spiritually and emotionally, moving towards greater wisdom and understanding because you're embracing the truth. Because as a collective, we're embracing the truth more, which is why certain things aren't being let go when it would have, passed before. With passings, like I live in the US, so things like the RFK and JFK shootings and MLK and all those, like, people just kind of accept it's like, okay, that's the narrative, that must be the truth, and people are just like, something's fishy now. I'm gonna start questioning things. And politicians, the media, whatever, can have their narratives and try to, deceive us, pull the wool over our eyes, and people are like, no, we're not letting this go. That doesn't sit right. Doesn't sound true. Keep changing your stories. The truth doesn't need to change. The truth can stand in integrity and withstand the test of time, We're evolving. The old ways aren't going to work. And yeah, it's bringing a renewal. All the old coming crashing down, all of it crumbling, is bringing a renewal. You're experiencing renewal and fresh beginnings. Release the past and the lies and deception and manipulation, all of that. You can let go of all that falsity and stand in the truth and embrace opportunities for growth and transformation ahead. Yeah, the truth will set you free. It's going to renew you. It's going to transform you. You're going to reach an evolution. It's going to be great. It can be messy, but it'll be great. Okay, so we have Canary. Step forward now and sing your song. There's power in finding your voice. And this is the universe saying, hey, not only sing your song, stay true to yourself and be who you authentically are, but also speak up. Speak the truth. Even if your voice shakes, even if, people are going to lash out at you. I mean, use your discernment and stay safe. Don't, be popping off when people are definitely unhinged and that your safety can be in danger, but speak the truth, even if other people don't like it. Because that toxic group and the narcissist, that former friend, my family, they can't stand the truth. They love to claim that they're speaking truth, and they lash out at you if you, because like, you're crazy. You're the one, in denial and deception and delusion, and you're lying and all these things. Like, if I'm the one lying, why am I so calm and at peace? Why am I standing firm and not losing my wits and freaking out and changing my story, Speak up, guys. There's power in your voice. And yeah, the truth with the owl. Your intuition is correct. Again, energy doesn't lie. Trust your intuition. Trust the energy you're feeling because it will not lie. Follow your inner wisdom without fail because you can pick up on the truth with your intuition. I've done it plenty of times. That's why when things are trying to feel off with that group, I was like, okay, let me step back and sit with this. Let me feel it out and see what I want to do with this because the truth will set you free. The truth is the truth, and you can often feel it with your intuition. Energy does not lie. Nuthatch, stay grounded and welcome the new knowledge and perspective coming to you. Yeah. With some of these truths coming up, we need to be grounded. We need to be steady and stable and secure in ourselves and have that level head because it can rock our world. Like, so many things that we thought were true, threads are being pulled at and it's becoming unwoven. And it's like the curtain with the Wizard of Oz. Like, you think the wizard's some great guy and it's like, no, he's just a man behind a curtain, putting on all these illusions. And so things can be crumbling around in our society, and things that we thought were the truth could be like, oh my goodness, we've been living a lie. Like, they pulled the wool over our eyes, they've deceived us. It's like, listen, it can be a messy process. The truth can be a bitter pill to swallow, but the truth will set us free. We'll be able to rebuild and renew and come from a solid place of the truth and integrity, and it will withstand the test of time. But there's always a shelf life and an expiration date for lies. They can't withstand it all. It's gonna crumble. Condor, hold the highest vision for your life. You now possess the ability to move past any hurdles. You now have the ability to move past any deception, any lies, any manipulation, like all these falsities. Fear is the false evidence appearing real, the insecurity, the doubt. You're moving past all that because you're in truth now. it's going to bring you the power. It's going to bring you the wisdom. It's going to bring you the strength and the balance and create harmony in your life. It's going to set you free. It's going to transform you, and it's going to allow you to trust more and know that you're safe because you live in truth. You have built your life upon truth, and it is a solid foundation. You're going to be able to withstand it all. You're in truth. Okay. So we have finger warning you of a problem either now or in the near future. And this is the truth coming up and trying to, remove the wool from your eyes. The energy being like, hey, I don't lie. Red flag, alarm bells going off. Like, the truth is trying to point it out to you. Because if you question these lies, these deceptions, these delusions, the manipulations, they fall apart. The whole, I think it was Senator Kennedy saying, Operation Let Them Speak. If you let them speak, they reveal themselves. They out themselves. Like, it becomes very obvious. Like, they can't handle the questions. And the more you have them talk, the more clear it gets. The truth, man. Attend to the details. And it may be that, Kat, you have a two-faced friend, or a two-faced co-worker, a two-faced family member, two-faced, partner. Like, you thought that you were on good terms with them, like I did with that toxic group of the narcissist. But the truth came out. They were very two-faced. I have had so many fake friends that were two-faced, so many co-workers that were two-faced, so many bosses that were two-faced, so many teachers that were two-faced, so many family members. Like, the truth comes out and it reveals all. It reveals all. And so it's like, yeah, it can suck seeing that they're two-faced and what you thought was actually a lie, but focus on the silver lining. At least now you know, and you can get out so you can make space for the good. You can make space for Lily, the spiritual love, the divine unconditional love, because the universe has your back. It will work magic and miracles on your behalf. It will bless you if you make the space, and if you are valuing and prioritizing the truth. It will allow new opportunities and relationships and connections to match that energy. So yeah, it can suck when all the two-facedness and the lies and deception and manipulation come out. But trust yourself. Unicorn, use your intuition to make beneficial changes. Trust the energy because the energy doesn't lie. Trust and stand in the truth because you will be able to withstand it all. You'll have the power. You'll have the strong foundation. And yeah, Tankard, you'll be able to enjoy the celebration, fun, and enjoyment because you don't have to worry about your lies and deception and manipulation catching up with you. You don't have to worry about having your true motives revealed and people seeing, all of your misdeeds for what they really were, having the truth catch up with you. No, you already live in the truth, so you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about. Yeah, Jug, lighthearted, carefree time. You can live at peace. You can be at ease because you don't have to worry about your past lies and deceptions and manipulations and gaslighting and invalidation, belittling, all of that catching up with you because you're not participating in it. You're living in truth. It is your strength and it sets you free. Yeah, and it's going to bless you because the universe is truth. And so like attracts like. You will be rewarded. You will be blessed for staying in your truth. Even if the fear starts to set in, the false evidence appearing real and be like, oh no, my boss won't like this and the other. Like, I'll be demoted, whatever. It's like, no. Stay in your truth because money will be coming to you. The universe will rain down blessings and prosperity and abundance upon you because you live in truth. You don't live the lies. You will be in balance. So, of course, you will have harmony and blessings and prosperity. You're not living in the lies. But yeah, that's a big thing that's been coming up lately. And I'm just sending you guys so much love. And I know it's hard. I'm there in the thick of it with you guys. It's like a battlefield out there, guys. Like, people are not handling the truth well at all. And it's just mind-boggling because, it's the truth. How are you going to fight the truth like that, But please take care. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you next time. Bye.